frustrated by the medical system and frustrated because nobody can seem to figure out what's going on with your neck pain? Do you feel like you've seen absolutely everybody and still nobody can give you answers as to why this pain is not going away? Or you feel like you've seen everybody for treatment and it's still this problem that you have this neck pain that's just not getting any better? So I'm Dr. Amy with Physical Therapy for Everybody, and this is what we're going to talk about today, why it is so difficult to get a diagnosis for your neck pain. All right, I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The reason why it is so hard to get a diagnosis specifically regarding neck pain is because the neck is super complicated. All right. So a lot of people think that the neck is not that big of a deal because it's just like the rest of the spine, but it's totally different than the rest of the spine. All right. So the neck has 7 vertebrae in it total, 7 vertebrae total in the neck, but they're trying to hold on to this huge noggin, right? Which is really, really heavy. And they're trying to keep this thing perched on top of these things here. And that's actually more complicated than you might think. Because of that, our bodies have been created in a way that the first cervical vertebrae, it's called C1, it's really creative naming, right? C1 is shaped different than every other vertebrae in your body. And C2 is also shaped different than every other vertebrae in your body. So 2 of your 7 vertebrae are actually shaped differently than all of the rest of them. So that's why it's super difficult to come up with a diagnosis for something that's going on in your neck, because it's a super complicated area. And you really have to work with somebody who is a specialist, who has had specialist training on the neck specifically. Because if they're just looking at the neck as one whole unit and not looking at it specifically level by level, a lot of things can get missed. Because if you're expecting everything to move the same, well, it just doesn't in the neck. Things don't move the same at every level because they're differently shaped. So they have to move differently because of their shape. So it's really important to have a specialist who can get their hands on the area, feel what's going on, assess how the joint is actually moving, check out all the muscles. Oh my gosh, there's so many muscles in the neck. And of course, a lot of them attached to the shoulders. So that just brings in a whole nother level of complication. And you have to know which ones are supposed to be doing what, because if something's not happening, which muscle's responsible for that. So it's a lot of information to really be able to get in there and specifically figure out what is going on with your neck pain and why it's not going away. And that's why it's so important to work with a specialist, particularly with the neck, because it is really, really difficult to figure out exactly what's going on. It's also why it's probably the most difficult area to self-treat. I've had a lot of patients recently coming in saying, I've had this neck pain. It started when I started working from home, and I've tried, ABC and XYZ to treat it. Which are techniques that might have worked on other areas of the body, knee or shoulder or something like that. But it's really hard with the neck because, again, it's differently shaped vertebrae and a whole mess of muscles. So it's really important to work with somebody who has specialist training, particularly in the neck, so that way you're getting targeted treatment that's directed exactly towards your problem, which is what we do here at Physical Therapy for Everybody. The second step of our 5-step process is get to the root. So we do a complete assessment to really figure out what the root of the problem is and kind of figure out what the different limbs are on that tree too, because usually it's not just one thing. It's kind of a snowball type effect, right? That one thing causes the next thing, causes the next thing, causes the next thing. And that's what we want to figure out during our assessment is what is that root? What started this whole problem? And then what are all those other limbs on the tree that are going to need to be dealt with to get your neck moving normally and pain-free so you can do all the things you want to do. So if you have any questions, we are doing a workshop next week. We're doing Tuesday night in person, Very limited capacity, obviously. You have to make sure we can maintain social distancing and everything. So very limited capacity. If you're interested in in-person, you need to get signed up because we don't have very many slots at all. And I think half of them are gone already. So if you want to do in person, you need to get signed up right away. You can drop a comment here. You can give us a call at 425-658-4944, and we can get you signed up for that. If you're interested in doing the online one, that's going to be Thursday night at 6:30. We have more room in that, obviously, because we don't have to worry about social distancing, but we are still putting a cap on that because we want to make sure we have a time for everybody's questions to get answered and have time to interact with everybody. So there is still a cap. So we do need you to sign up for that, but that's Thursday night at 6:30. So Tuesday at 6:30 is in person. Thursday at 6:30 is online. It'll be on Zoom. You can sign up by dropping a note below here. We'll get in touch with you on Messenger to go ahead and sign you up, or you can give us a call, 425-658-4944. And I'm also going to put a little shameless plug here on the end, because if anybody is watching this, we are currently hiring. We have gotten really, really busy here, and it's time to add to our awesome team. If you know any physical therapists who are interested in a job, have them give us a call. You have our phone number, particularly looking for people who have interest in training in manual physical therapy. We do a lot of hands-on work, obviously, here at Physical Therapy for Everybody. That's called manual because you're using your hands. And so if you know anybody who has an interest or training in manual physical therapy and lives in the Maple Valley area, we are hiring enthusiastically because we're just really, really busy and we need some help. So have them give us a call. We'd love to chat with them on the phone and get to know them better. All right, you guys have a great day. Bye.